Welcome, everyone. Glad to see you're here today. I want to thank the Ruth Kidder Memorial Library for hosting this. Also, the co-sponsors, the Friends of the Library, are helping co-sponsor this as well. We are going to continue our series today on what else can I do with the rotisserie chicken. So a lot of people pick these up at BJ's and Costco's or your local grocery store, and they're delicious. They save you a lot of time, energy, and money. And at some point, you kind of get tired of eating the same thing. So what we decided to do is show you different things that you can do that are simple, easy, and you can probably freeze the dish that you're going to make. And today we're going to do chicken enchiladas with red sauce, okay? I do want to make a quick disclaimer that if you can't watch this today and you want to share this with your family or your friends, please go to YouTube and you can look up and search Ruth Kidder Memorial Library, and all of our classes are recorded, so you can go back and look at them again or learn from them, or if you forget something or didn't take a note, check it out there and you can see all of our other classes are also featured there, because some of the things I'm going to do today, I might say, remember that I taught you how to do this? It'll be in those videos, okay? Another thing is that we sent out the recipes ahead of time. Just real quick, there was a typo kind of error on it. On the chili powder, it says 1/4 of a cup, way too much. You want to put like 2 teaspoons. So make a note that on your, if you printed it out or anything, it's like 2 teaspoons. All right, I just want to make sure. And also on the chicken stock, it's like 2 cups. And then I always make a little extra. That's why I put 4 cups, just in case you need to thin it out a little bit. We'll talk about that later, but I want to tell you at the beginning in case you want to jot those notes down. So I'm Chef Debbie Rizzo, and I'm with Studio Gourmet. That's the company I own, and I work and do private chefing. And I want to make sure that you understand that I'm teaching here during the pandemic, and I want to help you learn how to cook with your family. All right. So what we're going to start off today is it's going to be done in stages. We're going to do the sauce, then we're going to do the filling, and then we're going to do the assembly. All right. So first we start with the sauce. So I have a pan here. I'm going to get it on low, get everything going on. And everybody has a different kind of stove. I'm working off of a little portable one here, so it's easier to see when I cook here in the living area here, the dining center. So we have our pan. You want something deep on the sides so that when you're making your sauce, you know, you have room for it doesn't fall over, especially when you're whisking, all right? You can do it in a deep pot, but it's hard for me to film when the pot's too deep, so we're gonna work with this right here, okay? I'm gonna get my pot. Like I said, I'm gonna turn mine up a little hotter just so it can get hot. We're gonna start off making the roux. Now the roux consists of an oil, and it also consists of flour. In this case, we're gonna use just a light, organic light olive oil. If you have extra virgin olive oil, not what you wanna use for this. Virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil is for kind of like seasoning, tasting, dipping, you know, pouring it over certain dishes or salads. You know, this light one is okay for cooking. It's got a very neutral flavor. You don't want to use like peanut oil or anything like that. If you have a vegetable oil, go ahead and use like canola, corn, anything like that. But I suggest going with, you know, a light olive oil would be great. All right. So we're going to start off with that. A roux is always usually 50% of your oil, 50% of your flour. When you're making chowders, people use like, let's say bacon fat, for instance. Same thing, 50% of oil with a fat, 50% of that. And it depends too. I'm going to show you how to eyeball it as far as what it should look like if you need to add a little flour, because sometimes different spoons have different, believe it or not, it's a tablespoon, but I have another one over here. It's a silver one. It looks a little smaller, but I'm going to show you how, if you make a mistake, it's okay. We're going to start off with 4 tablespoons of of light olive oil. That's 1. When I make it, I usually just eyeball it, but I'm showing you like this. 2, 3, there's 4. And I'm going to keep the bottle around because we may have to add some more. Again, I'm going to show you what it should look like. Now, we're going to deal with all-purpose flour. Don't want to use bread flour or anything like that, okay? So this is on. I'm going to go ahead and, you don't put mounds like this. You kind of put it, you shake it, and you want it to level it off. Kind of like that, okay? And you can even do it with your finger like this. So that's 1. Tap it, make sure it's there. 2. 3. And there's 4. Now, when I make this, I double the recipe because I either put some in the freezer or we use it for other, like on top of stuffed peppers and stuff. So feel free to double the recipe if you have the ingredients here. Okay, you're gonna have a whisk. All right, it's starting to bubble up. You see that bubbling there? We're looking for a smell kind of like nuts roasting. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you right now, you look at your roux, it should look like wet sand, meaning that when I drag my finger through sand and make those striations, the sand, it fills back up. That's how you know you got the right consistency. If it wasn't doing that, it was too much oil, you put a little bit more flour in there, okay? Now, this roux is doing what it's supposed to be doing. See how it's kind of bubbling up there? I mean, you smell it, and you always put a little pinch of salt in there because you want your roux to have a little bit of flavor when it's starting to roast a little bit, okay? It's going, it's browning in there. You don't want to put it too brown because the darker your roux is, the less thickening power it has, okay? So it's bubbling nice. I'm gonna make my lines again so you can see that. And I'm looking at that, I might need just a little pinch more flour. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. My 200. Yep, see how I'm making my lines in there and it just comes back like sand. Now that it's smelling like kind of like roasted nuts, I'm gonna lower it a little bit because I don't want it to burn. You can burn your roux, okay? Since it has oil, we've always talked about putting our spices into oil because they're soluble and they get a lot more flavor like that. So we're gonna start off with our half a teaspoon of our garlic powder. Same thing, you don't want it mounded, you want it kind of flat. So you put that in there. If you have if your temperature is too high, your garlic's gonna burn real quick. So you wanna make sure it's kind of on low. Now we're gonna put our half a teaspoon of onion powder. And then we're gonna put our chili powder. Again, this is my favorite chili powder. It's Geppert's. Makes awesome. The flavor is different from other chili powders I've ever tried. So this is my half a teaspoon. I'm gonna put my other half a teaspoon. And I'm gonna put my third. I'm not gonna put 2 yet. I'm gonna see how it tastes and give myself a little leeway. I believe it needs 2. I'm gonna put 1.5. Let's just see. So we work that in. It's nice and orange. And you want to make sure that it starts to bubble again. Okay, so if you need to turn it back up, you can. Your spices go in there. It smells so good. All right, start to bubble. Put another pinch of salt. You don't want to put too much salt at this point because your chicken stock is going to have some sodium in it and you want to make sure that over salted. Now I'm going to take my pan off to the side because when you have a roux and you're trying to thicken it or put your other ingredients in it, you don't want to have it on the fire because all of a sudden you're going to have, it's going to seize up and then it's not going to be like, it's going to have like what they call roux balls in it. It's going to seize up anyways. And we're going to put our tomato sauce in, okay? So right over here, tomato sauce goes in. Okay. And that's just one little 8-ounce can. And if you want to buy the low sodium one, you can, but I buy the one that has the sodium in it. Because with my recipe, I kind of already know what it's supposed to taste like. Now, it's going to mix it in. Now you see it's still kind of fluid right now. But as soon as we get it back on, it's going to start to like get like peanut butter, okay? Now, it's important that we cook off the tomato sauce a little bit because with tomato sauce, if you don't get it like a little bit what they call it kind of a roasted, then it may have a chance to spoil later on. So you want to get this, it's going to start to thicken a little bit, okay? And that's just the roux working. All right. That's going. Okay. Now, see the smoke coming off of it, which means it's gotten up to temperature. Now, this enchilada sauce is not like hot. It's just very tasty. So I don't believe in making things so hot that, you know, you can't taste other flavors in it. We're gonna pull it off again, and we're gonna bring in our 2 cups of chicken stock, okay? In there. I go slowly because I don't want to have my flour seize up and then all of a sudden I'm not going to have a smooth sauce, because that's one thing I don't want to see much of flour balls in there. Yeah. The corner's really good. This is my Swedish whisk. I like it because it gets in the corners really good. The globe ones, they're good, but they don't get into the corners when you're making sauce. Now it's going to be able to take all of this 2 cups of chicken stock. That I can tell you. Now, you'll never know how thick it's supposed to be until this sauce comes up to a boil. So I'm going to put it on high, get it going. You see how watery it looks right now? So you're like, oh, this might be a little watery. Don't panic. A roux won't show you its thickening power until the sauce comes up to a boil. Okay, so we have it on high to boil. Right now, when it's cool, not cool, but it's not boiling, I like to take a first taste on it. So I have all my tasting spoons here. See how watery it is? This is not how we want it. It's got to come up to a boil. All right. It should coat the spoon, but like a thick coating, but it should still pour. That's what they call nappe in France. Okay. So I'm going to taste this. I think it's good. I'm going to put a pinch of pepper in it. Tiny bitch. Can always add. We can't take away, okay? Add that. And I would like to put my personal, I like a little bit more onion powder. It's just me. Okay. Just a touch. Now it's coming, it's getting thicker. Thicker. Look, we need some music. All right. So, got a clean spoon. It's getting thicker. Okay, just gotta come up to a boil. This is not my induction. My induction cooker, it's rapid. It comes up to a boil really fast, but I'm working with another burner today because I'm using different pots that don't have magnets in the bottom of them. So we have to be a little patient. All right, I can see it thickening. It smells so good. I didn't even eat lunch today because I was like excited to have enchiladas tonight. It's just taking a little while. All right. So, good. So while waiting for this to boil, after this, we're going to work on doing our enchilada filling on it. And that's where we're going to use our roasted chicken from BJ's. So hopefully you already have it deboned, you take it off the skin, and you've just kind of shredded it with your hands. And then I just have it in a bowl like so, right here next to us. And we're going to use that and we're going to make the filling in the inside, okay? Now, I put some options on it that you could put some corn, black beans, peppers, onion, things that you like in there. I'm going to tell you that I didn't put corn and black beans in ours because my daughter doesn't like that. So, but feel free to have those out and I'll tell you when they need to go in the recipe. Okay, take a look at our sauce. It's starting to come up to a boil. See it? Bubble in there. Don't let it bubble too long without stirring it because you don't want the bottom to burn, okay? All right, now we're going to check our consistency again. Oh, see how it's getting thicker? It's pourable, but it's coating the spoon a lot better. See, it's staying on the spoon. So you want it pourable. Now, this sauce tends to happen once it cools, it's going to have a skin on top of it. Don't worry, just push it off to the side and you can re-whisk it when you re-warm it. Once you refrigerate this, it's going to thicken even more. So when you re-warm it, if it's really thick, feel free to add a little bit more chicken stock or water to thin it out. It's okay. If you freeze this, once it defrosts and you put it in a pot to bring up to boil again, you have to make sure that you really whisk it back in because it's going to have water and it's going to look chunky and you're going to be like, oh, this is not how it was. It's okay. You can even put it in a blender if you needed to. You just need to reconstitute it and get it into an emulsion again. But it's good. It's just going to have the water that's and it's going to separate a little bit the chicken stock. Okay, so now we have our sauce. It's boiling now. See, it's really coming out. I want to make sure it really comes up to a boil. Once you know, if you're home and it comes up to a boil, I want you to lower it into a simmer and let it simmer for about 3 minutes, okay? And then just keep it on warm after that, or put it to a side where it stays warm. All right, I'm going to switch over to put it in another pan and put it to the side over there. Again, we're going to check it, and that's see how it coats the spoon to the front. That's what we want. We want it pourable to go over the enchiladas. Okay, you don't want it too thick, and you don't want it too runny. And see how it's coating the spoon? That's the canapé. Okay, that's how we want it. I'm going to taste. Delicious. All right, so. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to transfer. I'm going to leave this on because we're going to start working on our filling. So now I'm going to work with a little bit of a deep pot as well, because once I start putting in the, you know, the tomatoes and everything, I want to make sure that, you know, there's not splattering out to the side. Okay. I'm also going to need a top. So if you have a top, pull it out. This blue tape is just, there's a vent hole on here. And I cover it up with blue tape because when I'm making my rice and stuff, I don't like the steam to come out. I want to stay inside there. Okay. Just quick pro tip: blue tape can go in the dishwasher, the microwave. It can go in the oven. It will not burn. All right. So we're going to start off here. Let me get all my stuff around here. My seasonings. All right. Garlic and onion. So first, we're going to start off with a little same thing. Just some light olive oil. I love this brand. It's organic. About 2 tablespoons. So this is how I do it. I go 1, 2. That's it. Take a look how much is in there. If you want to measure it out, that's good. Just enough in there. All right. So there. Get that warmed up. Now the burner is a little warm. It should warm up pretty fast. Okay. Spread it around. Since we're going to be sweating our vegetables, like I've taught you in my other series, we're going to put a pinch of salt in here. That helps bring out the flavor from the onions into the pot. And then we put our chicken in there. It's going to absorb that, okay? That's that. All right. Now, about a cup of diced onions. Going to go in. And then we got 3 garlic cloves. Minced up. Around. Now, if you like things spicy, this is where you could put chopped up jalapenos, serranos, poblanos, any kind of pepper you want. You could do that. You can use bell peppers as well. Okay. So I'm going to put this in here. We're going to put our top on for just a little bit to sweat that. Just to get the flavors to come out of the onions and the garlic. Okay. All right. Once that gets going, for a little bit, we're going to add our seasoning. All right. I'm going to get my chicken here. Ready to go. And on the recipe, I said you could leave the juice separate from your diced tomatoes. If you don't have diced tomatoes and you have a chunky salsa, that'll work too. You just don't want it too watery, but I know I kind of put more chicken than I needed. So I know with this amount of chicken, this liquid would be fine. But if you kept yours separate, just keep it separate, and you'll take a look at the consistency of mine and you'll know if you need to add a little bit more of the liquid into the filling. But usually 1 can is pretty good for like the whole chicken from Costco. I mean, because you want it a little moist so that it binds when you're doing your rolling of your enchiladas. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Crank it up a little more. Sweating a little bit. We have that. Let's see, for our seasoning, we have a tablespoon of cumin. Like that. And then we have a teaspoon of onion powder. And then I have a little taco seasoning too. So if you want to ramp it up a little bit, you can do that. We have our salt and pepper as well. All right. Sizzling before it's starting to bubble up again. Okay, we're doing good. A little bit more with that. All right. While that's still going, let's talk about the tortillas. All right. So we have your corn tortillas. I buy the yellow ones. You know, they're soft, but when you start to try to roll them, they're not as pliable as we want. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have a plate and you have your tortillas. And then usually I can have a tray out, but I kind of spread them out like this. You can either run them real quick under water or you can use spray oil, you know, on them, like olive oil on both sides. And then we're going to put them into a paper towel like this. You only want to put about maybe 8 at a time. Okay. Too many, then they're not going to, you know, you might put them too long in the microwave, then they're going to crack. So these are kind of already pre-moistened with a little oil, and I have a paper towel around them. And I'm just going to show you how to do these, and we're going to add them to that. And I got a second batch here. So just have that ready with some kind of spray oil. If you don't have spray oil, you can use, like I said, water a little bit, or you can have a pastry brush and you can brush them with olive oil. You can do that as well. Again, you don't want it to be extra virgin. You want it to be some kind of a light oil as well. All right. Any questions so far? All right. So let's take a look at our vegetables in here. Okay. See how it's bubbling? Like nice aromatic. So now we're going to add in our spices. Okay. I'm going to add in our onion powder. And our cumin. Good. Okay. Now we're going to add in our chicken. The reason we're going to add the chicken in now is because all these spices and the liquids that were secreted from the vegetables, we want it to go right into the chicken, okay? So I'm just going to pop my chicken right in there, literally. Boom. And I'm going to keep my glass bowl because I'm going to put it after it's warm so that I'll use it. Now, if you look at your chicken and you say, I don't know, my pieces look a little big. I left mine big so I can show you. So what I do is to save myself time while this is warm, I kind of just cut it a few little times in here, and that's okay. As long as you don't have a type of pot that's like, you know, going to scratch the bottom, but this one is indestructible. So I just kind of go through, it's shredded, but like maybe like a little bit more needs to be cut. And once we put the tomatoes in there, it's going to absorb all those flavors. All right, that's good. Use this, I'm going to spread around. And I'm going to add my taco seasoning on here. And again, you can taste as you go along because there's nothing that's going to make you sick because it's all cooked already, okay? So keep, you know, flavor away, customize it. You know, make sure it's coated really good. Smells good. Okay, I'm going to make a well in the middle. I'm going to put in my diced tomatoes in there. Now, again, if you have salsa, if you have some chopped up cilantro, you can do that. I love it that way, but you know, I kind of make a happy medium for our family. So tomatoes, toss it around. You see how the liquid gets absorbed into the chicken. We want the chicken to be a little bit, I don't want to say sticky, but like it binds it. And I'm actually going to put in even like a splash of chicken stock so I can get this going so that once it kind of gets heated up, the chicken is going to absorb all the spices and the flavor. Okay. And if it was summertime and you wanted to dice up some of your tomatoes from your garden and keep the juices, you can do that too. It's just right now it's not seasoned, so tomatoes aren't so great. So I'm going to put just a touch chicken stock in there to make it. Hear that noise? It's kind of what you want to hear. It's going to be wet enough to where it's going to bind when I make the enchiladas, okay? So I'm going to put this on high so we can get the temperature to come up. Take a little while for this burner, but I am going to taste the chicken right now. See what we need to add. Salt. A little bit more seasoning. I'm gonna put a little bit more chocolate sauce. Okay. I'm gonna put a touch of salt. I didn't want to add the salt until after I added all my other ingredients and pepper. Okay. Some people don't like as much spice as other people. I don't like heat, but I do like flavor. I'm gonna add a little cumin. More cumin. Gosh. You just customize. If you have your corn or your black beans or green onions or anything like that you want to add to it, this is the time you want to do it. Okay. All right. Taste one more time. Spend this time. Good. Now let me let it warm up a little bit. Tap on it and get that going. Okay. So while we do this, let that get nice and hot, and it can absorb the flavors. We're gonna make some space here so that we can do our rolling of our enchiladas. Okay, up a little bit. We're gonna keep this because we're gonna put the chicken in there in just a minute. Make sure you have your oven at 350 because we're gonna go in for 20 minutes or so. If you have a thermometer, you want the thermometer to read 165 degrees Fahrenheit, the inside of the enchiladas when they come out of the oven. So while we wait for that to get hot, let's start working on our tortillas. All right, these haven't been moistened with water or anything. I'm doing mine with oil. So to kind of save time and the spray, because it goes everywhere, I do like 4 at a time. So I spray, get them a little shiny. I'm gonna flip them around. When I was little, they used to have a pan and they dip these in hot oil really quick, but it's messy and it's also not as healthy, I would say, dipping in that much oil. This is lighter. Okay, and then we're going to take our plate. These already been sprayed in here. Okay, so I'm just going to add them to them. And I have 8 in my stack, and I have like a damp or wet paper towel. I do that, and I'm going to flip it over this. And then everybody's microwave is different, but I'm going to put it in there for 45 seconds. Check the pliability. And then I don't want to put them too long because then they'll break. So that's my first batch. I have it in 2 batches. You put more than 8, you'll have to leave it too long. Excuse me. Excuse me, pepper. All right. We'll leave our plates here so that we can roll. Okay. While this is going on, a little more. Oh yeah, it's coming up, it's bubbling up. Oh, it smells good. Soften it up. All right, we're gonna keep going, let it go a little longer. Get one more taste. Center. All right. That way. Okay. And we're gonna get our cheeses out. Let's see. Let's check the pliability on these. Ooh, it's hot. Take one out. Are we able to roll it without it cracking? I think it could go like maybe 15 more seconds, maybe like a minute. Again, everybody's microwave's different, so we're gonna try 15 more seconds. All right. Meanwhile, we have our cheeses. I have Monterey Jack, and then I have a cheddar. You can buy one of those Mexican mixes. It works as well. We have those. So we're gonna get ready for the assembly, all right? We love cheese. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, let's check them out again. See the pliability on these. These are ready to go. All right, let's check. Oh yeah, they're much softer. See? You want to be able to roll them, but you don't want them to fall apart either, okay? So we're gonna keep them like that. We'll be ready to roll in just a minute. We're gonna check our chicken. I think we're ready to transfer it. I'm gonna give it one last taste. It's gonna be hot. We want it to kind of stay warm because if it's got a little bit of liquid, it's gonna go right into your tortilla. It's gonna be hot. Let's see. Let's put a little bit in here. Right. A few of these. cool off a little bit. All right, so I'm just putting it in the warm glass bowl so that it stays warm, but not too hot, okay? And then the rest we're gonna just put to the side. Move this off. And then we're gonna transfer this over here. Okay, we're gonna use this for that. Okay, so we have this. And then I need my sauce. No, that's it. All right. Make some space here. All right, we have our sauce. Now this is what I was telling you about, how it makes a film on top of it once it, see the little film on top of it? No worries, just push it off to the side. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll mix it in again a little bit later, okay? This is all of our sauce. Something to pour over the sauce on that. All right, I need to whisk this a little bit. Make sure that film gets in there and smooths out a little bit. All right, that's good. All right, so now we're ready to make it. I may need here, a spoon for this. Okay, so we're gonna take our tortilla. First, let me just tell you, we have this glass Pyrex. You can use metal, you can use a foil, depending if you're gonna put it in the freezer or not. I'm just using this one because it's a good size for like 8 of them. I'm gonna spray this. This is important, spray it, because you don't want your enchiladas at some point to get in the oven and they stick and then they just fall apart. You're gonna be really disappointed. I also use these sometimes where I put like 2 or 3 in them and just have them for my daughter so she can just warm it up either in the oven or the microwave, whichever. I prefer the oven though. So I'm gonna spray this one. Your edges real good. Okay. Have that ready. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to assemble them on the plate. Same thing, you want to kind of do a few of them at a time. That makes it faster. I'm all about efficiency. So to take out 4. All right. We're going to take a little bit of chicken filling. And again, yours might have carrots, spinach. I mean, you can put so many different things in here. If you got your beans and your corn in there, so you may not need as much as I do, or you may need more than I do. I'm not sure. Mine only has, you know, like the classic basic one in there, and that's it. So almost like a spoonful. You don't want to make them too big, but you do want it to have enough filling to where somebody says, this is a chicken enchilada. Okay. Now, for people who maybe are trying to avoid extra carbs, I take this filling and sometimes I put it the shredded chicken with salsa with more cilantro, and I just make a shredded chicken over rice or over quinoa or anything like that. And then add my black beans and corn, and then you can avoid having the tortilla. Okay, so I put a little bit of cheese in the inside, just a little as a binder. And in this case, I'm gonna put a little bit of both. So I just wanna be putting a little bit right in the middle. And if you had a tray, you can do them on a tray. Least amount of mess. Now you take it and you want to get your hand like this. And you tighten it and roll, 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 roll. Okay. Another good pro tip. First, you take a little sauce. You pour at the bottom. Okay, make a little ocean there. Just about that much to cover the bottom. See, there's no empty spots, okay? Here in the front, you can see it. So we're gonna take that and you're gonna, I have a long rectangle one. It's a good size to have 2 on each side, but I have these smaller ones. I'm gonna use these too, okay? So you take it again. See, I have my hand. Take the edge, you push this to the side, there to the back, and roll, 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 okay? Push it together, okay? Same thing. And if your tortilla breaks, it is not the end of the world, okay? See how my hands are? Push, tuck, and roll. Pretty. I like to use a yellow corn tortillas because they're like, you know, against the orange sauce is beautiful. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take out 4. I will be streamline it make it efficient. Instead of doing one, rolling and putting it in there, you can make it faster. Again, like I said, this is really good stuff. You're gonna make a mess, you're gonna make enough chicken, you should make 2 or 3 like casseroles. So this way, you always have something to pull out of your freezer. If you ever have company again, or just, you get not feeling well, and someone in your family can just pull one out of the freezer and have this and make a rice or something, which I've taught you how to make. So check those, YouTube channel. You can see I taught you how to make the rice. Okay, so now we're gonna put our cheeses. Cheddar. Just make sure you don't put too much because then it won't close, but this is a good amount like that. Roll. Tuck it. I'm squeezing it. I'm trying to get the 8 in there. Tuck and roll. Now you can also use this filling to make some people call them flautas, and like little flutes. And you would take this and you'd put a toothpick in it and you could deep fry it, and the chicken gets nice and crispy on the inside, and so does this. So you can make a chalupa out of this as well. Okay, I'm gonna try to fit one more in there because I want to have 8. And you see how this part of the tortilla is all torn? So that's the side that you want to use if you're tucking, so it looks nice and pretty. So tuck that so nobody sees that. It's just like a little imperfection in the tortilla. And then somehow or another, you're gonna squeeze this last one in. All right, we got 8 in there. Woo, that was tough. All right, so that being said, let me clean my mess up a little bit. Okay, and we have our casserole. Let's clean our edges. Looks good. Now we're gonna put sauce. Some people like to just put sauce in the middle and have the edges get real crispy. If that's how you like to do it, then this is where you would spray a little oil on your ends so they get crispy. We like ours completely covered with sauce because we really love the sauce. So in this case, we're gonna add our sauce. So as I'm adding the sauce, you wanna make sure you leave a little room in the, and if you need to get a fork or some kind of spatula, you can do that. When I say that, I mean like you wanna make sure the sauce gets in between them like this a little bit. Just shake them around. You're not gonna hurt the enchilada. It's just food, okay? So I'm gonna open that a little bit. There. We like to cover our ends up. But if you didn't want to cover your ends, then just put enough in the middle like this, but also make sure it gets in between the enchiladas, okay? Just scooshing them over so they can get in there. But we're gonna cover ours. So we like our swimming because what we end up doing is we put it over rice and stuff like that, and then we have enough sauce on the ends. All right, that looks good. I want to check them again to make sure I got enough sauce in between. And then keep them in the middle like that. And then I'm gonna put cheese over the top. So if you have extra chicken, you can put even a little chicken on the top here. Let me put a little chicken on the top here. Let me see. A little chicken on the top here, you can. Now, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna make a single one in just a minute, so really the chicken here. So I can put a little like that. And then we're gonna put our cheese. I'm gonna make an individual one because I'm gonna plate it up and show you what it looks like if you did one in the microwave. So cheese like that. We like lots of cheese, so we're gonna take that off the side. And now you're gonna take this uncovered in the oven, 350 for 20-25 minutes. It just depends on your oven, if it's electric, gas. And then you're gonna put the thermometer to check it. If you want to gratin the top, you can also do that in the broiler after it's cooked in the inside. Now everything is cooked here, so it's not gonna get sick, but the optimal temperature is 165, just to make sure everything is hot, gooey, good to serve. And the reason I like the glass thing is because it stays, warm after I pull it out of the oven while I'm getting my other components for my dish or my dinner ready, okay? So that's gonna go in the oven. And I'm gonna show you real quick how I made these little small ones here real quick. I'm gonna need a plate. All right, just put this out. I'm gonna put this one with 3 in here. Now, They're pliable. We already got them all moistened up a little bit. Let's put some in there. I think I took out just the right amount. Just imagine when my extended family used to have dinners and stuff like that, we used to make like 300 of these. Okay. All right. So this is my little individual portion. There's cheese in there. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the microwave, okay? If you want to do it with a microwave, like I make these sometimes if I know I'm going to be busy and my daughter's here home. I leave them in the fridge and then in there between, put them in the microwave. All right, so we do the same thing. Pinch it, pull it, and roll it. Tuck it. Now, I'm going to spray this as well. I'm going to spray right on top of here because it's going to go together anyways. Just one. I get a little bit tighter. Just tighten that up a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Tuck it, roll it. Ooh. My helper's not telling me. I need my sauce at the bottom. So the most important part. Okay. Let's try that again. Let's get that one in there. Baby burrito. And my last one here. And you see my tortilla broke there, okay? No problem. It's all edible, okay? So now I'm gonna put our sauce on it. Now this dish could be this little ramekin could be a little bit deeper, but it's okay. Because we're gonna transfer it over to a plate. Just wanna make sure it has enough sauce in between it, sides of it. I'm gonna put it on a plate anyway, so in case it spills over, we're covered. All right, go here. Cheese on it. Now, what I'm going to show you with this one is, and my family, the tradition for Mexico, when we serve enchiladas, we always top it with more than the traditional things, the garnishes. So this is going to go in the microwave for about, let's try it for about a minute and a half or two. Wipe my hands. We like to serve on the top of it. We put rice, we put beans on the top of it. Some people like sour cream, some people like avocado. But in our tradition, we put a fried egg with lettuce and tomato and the cheese. And then when the person goes to eat their enchiladas, they pop the egg yolk and the egg yolk goes over, and it's just the combination of the yolk and the sauce and it is just amazing. You know, you have to try it at least once, okay? So I'll show you how we do that. And as soon as this one comes out, I'm gonna get my plate with rice and beans. Let's clean up here a little bit. Make some space. All right. Okay, so I have my plate. We're gonna pop that on top of that. I have a little bit of green salad. I just gotta I like arugula on mine sometimes too. It adds a little bit of kick to it. I have a fried egg, which I just fried about 30 minutes ago before class. I have here. Some people like it really fried with crispy. Some people don't at my family's, but this is like, it still has the yolk in it, okay? And then I have my avocado, which we like too as well. We have there. Let's off to the spatula and that. Okay, so first we have our rice. I'm gonna put a little rice. This is just our standard garlic white pilaf rice that we like to eat with that. We're gonna plate it up like this. So if we were having, I wouldn't say a dinner party, but I hope that all happens again real soon. So we put that right there. Then we're gonna start our beans. I got a bigger spoon for beans, please. Okay. All right, here we go. Then we're gonna put our beans. Some people like refried beans. We're trying to stay a little healthy here. We'll put our beans here on the side. Oh, smells so good. Okay. All right, get my enchiladas there. Let's see if we're ready to pull those out. Oh yes, they're nice and gooey. See? Take a look at those. Okay, so they're hot. We're gonna try and make a big effort to transfer these over onto the plate. Let's hope it all happens without me hurting myself. All right, let's try to get these bad boys off. All right, so we'll turn our plate here. We like to put it right in the middle. That's how we do it. Okay, right on top of the rice and the beans. And I'll probably put some more beans so you can see. That's how they serve it like that. One got away from me. Okay. And because I put beans in the side, that's why I prefer not to have the beans and corn on the inside, but you can do what you want. We have all this extra sauce. Yeah, the sauce on the top. A little bit of this for the top of it. Okay, we have that. I'm going to put a little bit more so you can see the beans here on the side. We take our egg. Crosswise. Yeah, you can see that. So when someone eats it, they pop the yolk, it goes over that. We put a little lettuce here. Lettuce here. So, tomatoes. Just like that. And avocado. A couple of slices here. Slices here. And then we're going to put a squirt of sour cream. Oops. Sure it comes out that squirting a little bit there. Okay. Amazing. Okay. Now, let's take a look real quick. This is the ones that we had in the oven. I made a batch earlier, and this is what it's going to look like when it comes out of the oven, okay? Again, if you don't put the chicken on top, that's okay. And if you do, you know, and if any little sauce like this extra, you can put that on there. Besides, I like to waste it. The sauce is so good. Okay. So now let's take a look at what we have here, how pretty this looks, how festive. Lay it up a little bit. And then you have a nice, beautiful enchilada dinner. You can incorporate some green and your egg. I'm gonna pop, you can pop the egg and the yolk goes all like this. I don't want to pop it yet because I want to take a picture of this to post. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at chefrizzo@hotmail.com. I hope you enjoyed it. Another thing, if you do happen to try these recipes, we would really love it if you would tag pictures and tag the Ruth Keeler Memorial Library, so we'd like to see them. You can also send them to me and I will send them to our tech person at the library. They'd be glad to post them on our social media sites and you can share them with us as well. If you have any questions, like I said, reach out. Next week, we're going to be doing white chicken chili. It's like a New Mexican type with either made with chickpeas or with white cannelli beans. You can choose whichever you want. And when you register, you should get directed right to the recipes. So again, this is the ones that came out of the oven. You can serve them as a casserole, take them out and serve them on the plate just like this if you want to. I just did it in the small one so that you could see and it was easier for me to transfer it onto here. All right. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you next week. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Goodbye.